Now that's old timey.
Hey there, Acorns, and welcome back to Old Timey Tuesday. This is an unusual video. I have a confession right up front. I'm going to sing two songs for you. One I truly did learn from Bugs Bunny. The other one I did not learn from Bugs Bunny, but I did see Bugs Bunny sing the song. And I'll confess that I thought maybe rather than just naming the two songs, I thought that this title might somehow help with the algorithm and might get more views from people who aren't aware of the channel than if I just put the titles of the two songs. This first one appeared in a cartoon where Bugs is minding his own business. He's in his hole. By the way, I loved Looney Tunes growing up. It was one of my favorite things to watch as a kid, the old classics. And I know they're very violent. Watching the violence that you see in Looney Tunes never made me want to do anything that I saw in the cartoon, nor any of my friends. You know, we didn't go out and try to reenact any of the cartoon violence that we saw. But anyway, this first song, Bugs was minding his own business. He was hanging around his hole and he was playing the banjo, singing and kind of entertaining himself. And just a little ways away, there was an opera singer in his house who was practicing his opera, and he was getting annoyed with what he was hearing coming from Bugs' hole. He would catch himself starting to sing the songs that Bugs were singing. Bugs was singing, which of course they were not operatic songs. And he marches up there. He jerks Bugs out of the hole by his ears, and he breaks his banjo. And of course, then that sets the conflict between the two. And if you've seen that particular cartoon, you know that Bugs eventually gets his revenge on the opera singer in a number of ways, but mainly by impersonating a conductor and having the opera singer hit incredibly high and incredibly low notes until the Hollywood Bowl, I think it's called, where the opera singer is performing, eventually even collapses under the note, the incredible note that he is being forced to sustain by Bugs the conductor. But this is one of the songs that Bugs sang with his banjo before he was rudely stopped by the opera singer. And I never could find any other version of this song anywhere. I have a suspicion that it might be a really old song from the 20s or 30s. Bugs does not sing the entire song, so I don't know how the rest of the song goes, but I like this song. And I watched the cartoon, and the very next time I had my guitar out, I sang the song. Pap thought it was hilarious that I was singing something that Bugs Bunny had sung. Now, you may have seen that very cartoon that I'm talking about, or that very episode, and you may say, well, Paul, I don't remember that song being in there. One thing I've learned from watching Looney Tune cartoons over the years is there are a lot of different versions of each episode, and they're trimmed down and edited in different ways depending on, how much time they have available. A lot of them, in their entirety, the cartoon or the episode, the one story might have been 20 or 30 minutes long, and it originally aired in a movie theater. But then when it's shown on television and you have commercials and you have, they want to show more than one cartoon in a short span of time, they trim them down. Anyway, here is the first song that I truly did learn from Bugs Bunny. My gal is a highborn stepper, ginger with salt and pepper. She's a fancy stepper. When she dances, go and see her as she kippers and prances. My gal don't do much talking, dances even when she's walking. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, she dances all day long. And I used to pick it a little bit. Let's see. Something like that. My gal is a highborn stepper, ginger with salt and pepper. She's a fancy stepper when she dances. Go and see her as she kippers and prances. My gal don't do much talking, dances even when she's walking. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, she dances all day long. If anybody finds that song, or you know who originally did that song, or you can do a link to the song or anything like that, please do it in the description below. Here's the other song that I heard Bugs sing, which is a fantastic song, and I didn't truly learn it from Bugs. I may have actually heard Bugs sing it first, but really didn't pay any attention. But somewhere in my teen years, I had a friend who asked me to take her to the library or pick her up at the library, I can't remember, and I found out that she would check out movies from the library, which I didn't even know was possible. I would only go to a place where you could rent them and pay for them, but she would check them out at the library for free, watch them, take them back. And we checked out what she had already seen it, and she wanted me to see it, what became my favorite movie of all time, which is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there at the public library in Murphy. But while we were there looking at the movies, I kind of noticed, oh, look, over here they have records. And so I started looking through their records, and I got a record of Hank Locklin. I really hadn't heard Hank Locklin, and I was just blown away by that record. It was so beautiful. It had Send Me the Pillow That You Dream On, Please Help Me, I'm Falling, songs like that. It had what, in my opinion, is the very best version of all time of the Kentucky Waltz, which was Hank Locklin. A lot of people have done it great, including Bill Monroe. Lots of different people have done a great job on that. But in my book, Hank Locklin did the very best vocal on the Kentucky Waltz. That was on that record. And I found a record there of Sonny James, which was so good, so phenomenally good. All I had really heard out of Sonny James at that point was Young Love, Whoop. Which is great, of course. But when I got that full Sonny James album, it just had so many cool songs on it, like Red Mud was on there, I remember. Is There Room for My Heart? Is There Room in Your Heart for Me? Let's see, what else? Could almost think of another one there. I'm a big fool to love you when you treat me like I'm your clown. It's easy to see that you don't love me. You just want me hanging around. What is that? Hanging around. Something like, can't believe I can't think of it. I'm getting way off topic too, because this is not the song that Bugs Bunny sang. Something like, if your love is through, if your love is gone, don't keep me hanging on. Don't keep me hanging on. Anyway, just a great record from Sonny James. I loved every song on there, and I also found an Eddie Arnold record, I believe. I found an album of Chet Atkins and Jerry Reed. So I would take a couple of albums, take them home, listen to them, and I know this was probably breaking the law, but I would copy them onto cassettes so I could listen to them in a car, and by that time record players were getting fewer and harder to come by. But so in addition to those records that I just mentioned, I also found a record of Slim Whitman. And much like Hank Locklin, I had heard very little of Slim Whitman. Pap would talk about Slim Whitman and what a great singer he was and what a different singer he was. And that proved to be right. I mean, there's just nobody like Slim Whitman. He's very much an oddball, a very talented oddball. Here's a little side note I'll throw in there. I knew that Caleb Dykes was very cool the first time I ever met him and his guitar playing, but the next time or two that I saw him, he was even cooler in my book because he was wearing a T-shirt with Slim Whitman's face on the front of it. And I was like, all right, this guy knows his music. This guy has great taste. This is a cool guy. But anyway, the Slim Whitman record, it had, Indian Love Call Waltz, which if you haven't heard that, man, oh man, how beautiful is that? It had North Wind, now a different North Wind than the one that Pap and I sang. What else was on there? Slim Whitman. I'm drawing a blank right now, but the song that I'm going to sing for you was on there. And this song I heard Bugs Bunny sing after I had heard the Slim Whitman record. This was the Bugs Bunny episode where Yosemite Sam is stranded on an island, and there's one coconut tree on a smaller island, and Yosemite Sam has to run across a series of rocks to get over to the coconut tree to get him a coconut to eat, and then he has to run back to the island, the whole way being pursued by a shark that's trying to bite him, eat him, and he has to beat the shark down with his club and, grumble and sort of not exactly curse, but gripe at the shark in classic Yosemite Sam fashion. And as the cartoon opens, Yosemite Sam is already stranded there, at least in this version. But Bugs comes along and he's rowing himself either in a rowboat or some sort of piece of wood that that's floating, and he's paddling himself with some kind of oar or makeshift oar, and he's singing this song. Now, if you look for this song on YouTube, you're going to hear a lot of kind of jazz versions. In one of the train song videos that I did with the great Doyle Dykes, he was talking about being able to play with, for many years, with Grandpa Jones. And Grandpa Jones had a rule about no passing chords, no fancy chords that go between sort of the major chords of the melody. And of course, Doyle knows more chords than guitar chords than probably anyone in the world. If you look up this song, that's what you're going to see. A lot of jazz versions where there's just tons of all these different passing chords, augmented chords, whatever you want to call them. Mine is going to be pretty stripped down and simple. And I'm going to try to sing it the way Slim Whitman sang it / the way Bugs Bunny sang it. And the song is called Secret Love. It does, it starts out low and it gets very loud or very high. I'm going to try to turn my head a little bit away from the mic on those parts and hope that either the camera doesn't distort, and hope that the automatic gain control or compression of YouTube doesn't smother those parts down. Because to me, that's what makes the song so beautiful, especially when Slim Whitman sang it, is those peaks, those high notes. Here we go. Once I had a secret love that lived within the heart of me. All too soon my secret love became impatient to be free. So I told a friendly star the way that dreamers often do, just how wonderful you are, and why I'm so in love with you. Now I shout it from the highest hill, even told the golden daffodils. Now my heart's an open door, and my secret love's no secret anymore. Slim Whitman whistled this part. I can whistle on key, but I'm going to give it a try. Shouted from the highest hill, even told the golden daffodil. Now my heart's an open door, and my secret love's no secret. No, my secret love's no secret anymore. Secret Love. How cool is it that Bugs Bunny sang that song in that cartoon while he was paddling across the ocean? There are some interesting documentaries here on YouTube about the people behind Looney Tunes, Mel Blanc, and the different animators, the different sort of philosophies that they had, that they worked into those cartoons, whether it was about artwork, whether it was about storytelling and humor. So, do a search for that if you're interested. But I hope you enjoyed those two old-timey songs, and tune in this coming Thursday, for an original song.